I've been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, is any of this for real? Or not? You and I, there's a new
Gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Tenek127 and welcome back to another Tera video. And in today's video I got a really important topic I want to talk to you guys about. I actually had made a video on this topic sometime in 2018. I want to say it was probably around the spring, a little bit after Tera had finally came out on console. And the reason I'm not labeling this video as a Tera console video is because what I'm going to talk about today I think should be applied to all versions of Tera, including the PC. I just think it'll help the longevity and livelihood of this game. But to fill you guys in and to give some backstory on this, last year I made a video called "The Only Thing I Hate About Tera." Some of you guys may remember that video. It wasn't exactly viewed by everyone. It's definitely in one of my lower view counts, but I had went on this giant rant about how I hate this game's dungeon queue system. And with the Valkyrie launch recently coming here, it kind of just enforces that point even more, and you know how I feel about this this queue system. And the thing that surprises me is, like, after all this time, Tera being here, you know, on PC and stuff like that, because I know for a fact PC probably has a way larger player base than either of the consoles since the game's been around for so long. But there's no way in the world neither Enmass or Bluehole have just not noticed this issue or ever, you know, paid attention to it. And the fact is, I'm going to just sit here and lay it on the line because there's really no sugar-coated way to say it. Tera's queues suck. They're terrible, and that's for... It's mainly... They're pretty bad for endgame too, but I'm not going to say as bad. They definitely pick up a bit once you do endgame content or anything that's level 60 and higher. But for early game players, they are terrible. You're either waiting an hour plus, and that's for any dungeon that's between 20 and 59, or you are begging the 4 or 5 people that are standing around that dungeon entrance to go in and give you a quick run out of being just flat out desperate, and you don't care what kind of group you get composed with anymore. And I think a lot of you guys can probably relate to this. And man, Jesus Christ, like one thing I want to point out here too, it is so different seeing how weird seeing how these communities on Tera are so different. Like on Xbox, the main hangout spot I usually see people hanging out more is Velica, but on PlayStation 4 it's Highwatch. I just find that so cool. If anybody plays PC, tell me where everybody, like, where all the endgame players and stuff tend to hang out on PC. I'm just curious. I know that had nothing to do with the video, but I was literally just noticing that there's just every time I go on PS4, there's a ton of people in Highwatch. But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and give a little suggestion and just talk a bit more what I'm discussing about here. If you guys are confused about what I mean. So let's go ahead and take a look into our instance list real quick. As you guys can see, my character is an item level 404. I know I need to get my item level on PS4 up. Don't remind me, people tell me all the time. But as you guys can see, my dungeon list looks nothing like how it does when you first start the game. Chances are when you first start the game, you get in that level 20 area, you probably see about 2 dungeons. But none of them are any of these, obviously. Now, what I hate is what I'm going to show you guys here. As you guys can see, all I can access with this character is level 60 dungeons and up, because they tend to keep their dungeons in this 5 and 6 level gap. Like when you first do Bastion of Locke, it's for characters that are level 20 to 26, and then after that you have to manually walk in and solo it, or get all 5 people to manually walk in there. No one can use the queue system for it. Now I want you guys to keep that in mind for a second. After you get past that level, you can't use the queue system for that dungeon. But once you finish that dungeon, it gives you the next dungeon higher on the list, which will be Sinistral Manor. And that one's for like level 27 to like 33 or 34 or something like that. And the next dungeon will be from 34 to 40, and the next one will be from 40, like 46 or 47 to like 53. And you guys get the pattern here. This is what screws up our queues. This is what's just what's terrible about this game. And this little thing here honestly needs to change. And the fact that, you know, there's so many good incentives they can use to change this around, and so many good examples, I don't even know, you know, why they haven't even considered it. And that you know, that just boggles my mind, honestly. And I really hope, you know, some of the Enmasked team and Bluehole team sees this video, because my honest question is, why hasn't anything ever been considered? Ooh, thank you, Sarah. You looking real nice too. Thanks a lot for the comment. Special shout out to Sarah Monin, by the way. He probably doesn't even realize he's going to be in a video right now. But so what I want to suggest is that these caps from these dungeons be removed. Now, if you guys have played games like Neverwinter, Final Fantasy XIV, hell, if you've played any MMO but this one, because me personally, I haven't played a ton of MMOs in my life. I'll be honest about that. But this is the only MMO where I have seen this weird system in. Most other MMOs I play, if you go into a dungeon where you're too high for the current level, they just nerf you down to that level, and you know, you're basically on the level of players that can normally go into that dungeon. I personally think if Tera goes a route like this, they'll be able to improve. And just to throw some improve queues. They'll just to throw some good examples out there. For one, it'll make things a lot easier for early players. That's one example. But number two, if you want to get more in depth with it, we can also make things easier for endgame players. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have played Skyforge. I'm assuming if you're subscribed to my channel, you've touched it at least once. But you'll notice there's a system in there called directives, and I'm just going to use this one for an example. When these kind of systems, those or dailies, are usually placed in games, it's usually to help balance out the player base for all dungeon queues. Because, you know, as a new player, you need to get through all the dungeons in the game to get to the end game. That's kind of how it works with, you know, most MMOs and RPG games to this day. Well, if we have our nice little Vanguard system right here, why not add a system where these dungeon limits are gone, meaning 65 players can queue up to help level 21 players in Bastion of Locke or Sinistral Manor or something like that, and they get a Vanguard bonus for it. Like, for example, maybe they could get 200 gold and 15 tier 10 feedstock and 35 Vanguard credits for doing a queue for the day for Sinistral Manor or something like that. That way, you know, new game players will also have help from veteran players. And say, you know, there's a new player in there that's a new healer or something like that, and he doesn't know the mechanics to Sinistral Manor. Well, that level 65 person that queued up for that new Sinistral Manor, they could also, you know, teach that guy the mechanics, because they've done it already. And when you do things this way, you know, you're helping both sides of the MMO and MMO economy. Because the way it seems how Tera works is, it seems like, you know, you have the early game and stuff like that, but the game really blossoms when you hit endgame. That's when you get into, you know, all the super fashion. You go to the nice little island in the center of the map to farm fashion coupons. You get all the Vanguard credits, all the gear and stuff like that. Tera is all about its endgame. But I think Tera's problem is it sells itself very short in its early game when it doesn't have to. One thing about Tera is, if any of you guys, if you haven't played through Tera's storyline, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Like, if you were one of those guys who just skip through dungeon to dungeon and just hit endgame as quick as you can, when you have time, or, you know, just seriously nothing to do, go through Tera's storyline. It's actually pretty decent, especially, and it gets really intense once you get to around, like, the level 30 quest area. That's how it doesn't take long to get intense at all. It's actually a really decent story. I've played through it on a couple characters now on both platforms. I actually really enjoy Tera's storyline. And I just feel, you know, like with all that potential that the game has, you know, so early in it and stuff like that, I just feel like it really sells itself short. And there's just, you know, they have so many different formulas. You have the Vanguard request, you have the Vanguard credits, you have what are these little token things that you get over here and stuff. There's all kinds of like these Lackens charms. There's so many things that they can give you and reward you for helping new players. It's unreal. And I just feel like the game's selling itself short when they don't have a system in place like this. That's just my personal opinion. I honestly think, you know, this game should change. Because let's think about it, guys. Whenever you play Tera, whenever people go in my comment section, what's the #1 complaint you see about Tera? You don't hear much pay to win crap about it, because there's really no pay to win aspects in this game, unless you're gonna cry about the 3 Alcahest that drops out of a loot box sometimes. Woo, big deal. But the main complaint is, oh, this game's dead, the queues suck, blah 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 blah. How do the hold on, boy? Oh, that man's gonna DM. I want to know where he got that effect on his armor. Anyway, the main complaint that people always say is this game's dead, the queues suck, blah blah blah. It's even when you go onto the Xbox review tabs in the store is just filled with it. Dead queues, takes too long to get a dungeon. I'm sorry, but this game, when the trailer first came out for console in 2017, it said join up to like 30 million players or something like that. You mean to tell me a game that's had 30 million accounts on it just has nobody playing at all? You mean to tell me a console like PS4 that sold over 80 million units, there's just 10 or 15 people playing at a time? You mean to tell me with all these dudes standing right here in High Watch, there's nobody playing Tera? I don't know, guys, but judging by this little crowd right here, I kind of just refuse to believe that. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just not feeling the whole Tera's dead thing right now. I think it's probably because this game has so many restrictions, it's hard for these tons of people to interact with each other. And I think lifting those dungeon restrictions will definitely be a good start. But I also think to get people to want to run those early game dungeons, there needs to be some type of incentive behind it for both new game and end game players. Anyway, guys, leave your feedback in the comments below. If y'all enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button for me. And I want to thank you all so much for watching. It's your boy Tnek127, and please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Till next time, peace out, take care.
You and I, there's a new life.